You bought the jade plant because you heard it brings good luck. Maybe it was a gift, maybe it caught your eye at the garden center, those plump, round leaves that look a little like coins. It's sitting somewhere in your living room right now. It looks alive, it looks lovely. But here's the quiet truth most people don't realize. Where you place your jade plant could mean the difference between inviting wealth into your life or quietly pushing it away. It sounds strange, doesn't it? That something as simple as a corner, a patch of light, or the direction a pot faces might affect how energy moves in your home. But it happens all the time. People place their jade plant where it looks nice, where there's space, where the light hits it just right for photos. And then they wonder why their finances still feel stuck, why money trickles in but somehow never stays. It's not superstition. It's about energy and how your environment either supports or blocks the flow of abundance. In Feng Shui, there's a part of your living room that naturally holds the energy of prosperity. It's not always the obvious place. It's quiet, overlooked, and often misused. But when aligned with intention, it becomes a magnet, not for luck, but for consistency, for stability, for the kind of quiet wealth that doesn't shout, but stays. So this isn't about magic, and it's not about decorating. It's about something many of us crave as we move through life, a sense that what we build will last, that our efforts won't slip away in silence, that our home, our sacred lived-in space can support our financial peace. The jade plant, when placed right, becomes more than a plant. It becomes a partner. Let me show you where to begin. Part 1, why the jade plant is a living wealth magnet. They call it the money plant. Some say it's lucky. Some keep it near the front door. Others set it on a bright windowsill, hoping its rounded leaves will somehow usher in prosperity. But here's a truth most people never hear. The jade plant isn't just symbolic. It's not just pretty. It's not even just about luck. It is, when used with awareness, a living tool for wealth alignment, not in theory, not in wishful thinking, but in the very real, very felt energy of your home. Let's begin with what's in front of you, a small plant with thick green leaves. The leaves are smooth and full, shaped like tiny coins. You touch them, they feel solid, a little waxy, filled with moisture, and that matters. Because what your jade plant holds is more than water. It holds retention. This plant doesn't bloom in bursts. It doesn't sprawl or demand. It quietly collects. It knows how to store, how to stay, how to hold. And isn't that what so many of us want with money? Not just the rush of receiving, but the peace of knowing it won't disappear. The jade plant, in its very form, mirrors the kind of wealth we rarely talk about: sustainable, quiet, stable. Now, why does this matter in your space? Because your home is not neutral. Every object, every wall, every corner holds a certain kind of vibration. If you've ever walked into a room and felt uneasy for no reason, or sat in a chair that just didn't feel right, you've experienced this. Energy, subtle, quiet, but real, is always shaping how we feel and how we live. The jade plant interacts with that energy. It doesn't just sit there, it responds. It absorbs, it balances, and it either thrives or withers based on where it's placed and how it's treated. Let's go deeper. In Feng Shui and other energy-based traditions, the jade plant is aligned with the wood element, the energy of upward growth, steady momentum, and lasting vitality. But it's also deeply yin in its presence. It's not flashy. It doesn't need attention. It works slowly, like compound interest. When you care for a jade plant, gently wipe its leaves, water it mindfully, give it a calm place to rest. You are reinforcing the habits and mindset of someone who keeps wealth, not just chases it. This matters more than ever as we grow older. Life teaches us that wealth isn't always about income or investments. It's about energy. Do we feel safe? Do we feel supported? Is our home working with us or silently draining us? That's where the jade plant becomes more than a plant. It becomes a mirror. If it's neglected, dusty, or shoved into a chaotic spot, it will reflect that. The leaves will dull, the soil will dry too fast, but when placed with care, it becomes a soft but powerful anchor in your space. A reminder that wealth can be calm, that growth doesn't have to be loud. I once visited a woman's home, a retired teacher. She'd placed her jade plant beside a noisy television, on a shelf that rattled every time someone walked by. "It looks cute there," she said. "It's right by the light." But the leaves were turning brown at the edges. The soil was dry despite her watering. We moved it to a quiet corner in the southeast part of her living room. She added a small wooden stand, tied a red ribbon gently around the pot, and left it alone. 2 weeks later, she called me. "It looks different," she said. "Like it's waking up." That's what energy does. It wakes up what's been ignored. It speaks through stillness. Let's be clear, this isn't magic. It's not superstition. It's awareness. When you slow down enough to truly see how your environment affects your emotional and financial well-being, things begin to shift. The jade plant is simply a helper, a quiet one. It won't shout at you, but it will hold space if you let it. And perhaps that's the point. In a world that constantly tells us to do more, push harder, spend faster, grow quicker, the jade plant offers a different rhythm. One that says, stay, breathe, let it build slowly. So why is the jade plant a living wealth magnet? Because it embodies the very things wealth requires: grounding, intention, steadiness. It listens more than it speaks, it stores more than it spends, and when placed in the right environment, it teaches us, without words, how to receive and hold abundance without fear. And if you've ever looked around your life and thought, why does it feel like money comes in but never stays? This plant, this corner, this shift in your home might just be where the answer begins. Part 2, the wealth corner where the plant can finally work. There's a spot in your home where energy settles quietly. A place that doesn't call attention to itself, doesn't compete with the noise, the TV, the clutter of daily life. And yet it holds a power most of us overlook. It's not the center of the room. It's not where guests sit or where light floods in for the perfect photo. But it's where wealth begins. Not in numbers or spreadsheets, but in stillness, direction, and alignment. This is your wealth corner, and this is where your jade plant can finally start doing what it was meant to do. In traditional energy mapping, the southeast area of your home, or more specifically, the southeast corner of your living room, is known as the seat of abundance. In Feng Shui terms, it's associated with wood energy, the same energy your jade plant naturally carries. That alignment matters. Because when energies match, they don't clash, they amplify. Think of it like placing a violin in the right room. Suddenly, it doesn't just make sound, it resonates. To find this space, you don't need to be an expert. Stand in the center of your living room, right in the heart of the space where energy feels neutral. Then use a simple compass or compass app on your phone. Turn slowly until you're facing southeast. Look toward that corner. That's it. That's the space. It may be behind a chair. It may be next to a window. It may not look like much at first, but that doesn't matter, because energy doesn't need a spotlight, it needs permission. Now, here's where many people unintentionally make mistakes. They place their jade plant in a spot that's convenient, not intentional. Near the TV because there's room. On a table that gets light because it's pretty. Or worse, in a spot filled with noise, traffic, or emotional heaviness. And then they wonder why nothing changes. The plant lives, but the energy doesn't. Why? Because wealth energy is sensitive. It doesn't push. It doesn't crash through. It waits. It waits for a calm space, a supported space, a space where it can settle and begin to expand. That's what the wealth corner provides, a soft landing place for your abundance to root itself and grow. So how do you prepare this space for your jade plant to thrive? First, clear it, not just physically, but energetically. Dust it. Remove anything broken, unused, or emotionally heavy. Don't just move clutter aside, let it go. The wealth corner should not be crowded. It should feel open but grounded, like a breath that's not forced but full. Next, give your plant support. In energy work, backing matters. Never place the jade plant on a floating shelf or in the middle of a walkway. Instead, let it lean against a solid surface. A wooden cabinet, a wall, even a stable table with soft edges. Just like we all need someone or something to lean on, your plant needs a mountain behind it. This helps wealth energy settle instead of spilling out. Light is another essential piece. Wealth doesn't grow in darkness. Choose soft, steady light. Morning sun if possible, or a warm lamp with amber tones that mimic sunlight. Avoid harsh lighting, blinking LEDs, or corners that stay dark for days. You want this plant to be alive, not just in soil, but in spirit. And light is the food of spirit. Now listen closely, because here's the emotional truth no one tells you. The corner you choose becomes a mirror. If it's dusty, ignored, or filled with objects that carry old weight, your finances may reflect the same. If it's chaotic, rushed, or placed near electronics that buzz constantly, your thoughts may begin to scatter. But if it's calm, tended to, and quietly honored, your sense of financial peace will start to return. Not overnight, not like a lottery ticket, but slowly, reliably, like breath deepening with every exhale. That's what a well-prepared wealth corner does. It doesn't change your bank account instantly. It changes your relationship with abundance, and from there, everything else shifts. One woman I worked with had her jade plant perched on a tiny kitchen ledge. She said, "I just wanted it where I could see it." But it sat next to the stove, fire energy constantly clashing with its soft, green vibration. She'd been feeling burned out, financially stretched, like her money was always getting eaten up by something. We moved it to a quiet corner near her books, added a small citrine stone beside it, and tied a red ribbon around the pot. That corner, it changed. It felt warmer, safer. She later told me, "I don't know how, but I started sleeping better, and somehow I stopped overspending without even trying." That's what this is about, subtle shifts that change everything. So let me ask you, what's in the southeast corner of your living room right now? Is it filled with life or just stuff? Does it feel light or does it feel forgotten? What if you made space for something to grow there, something that wasn't loud or flashy but steady and deeply yours? Because here's what most people miss. Abundance doesn't always knock. It doesn't always show up with glitter or grand announcements. Sometimes it waits in the corner, quietly, patiently, until we're ready to notice it. And when you place your jade plant there, not just for show, not for trend, but with the intention to welcome stability, flow, and grounded wealth, you give that energy a place to land. You give it a home, and when energy has a home, it begins to settle, to grow, to multiply. So no, this isn't about superstition. It's not about being perfect or even believing in feng shui. It's about paying attention, about honoring space, about saying, this corner matters, and what I place here matters too. The wealth corner isn't just a direction, it's an invitation, and your jade plant, it's ready. Part 3, 5 rituals to turn your jade plant into a wealth partner. So you've placed your jade plant in the wealth corner. You've cleared the clutter, let in the light, and created a space that feels calm and intentional. And now you pause and wonder, what next? What can I do that goes beyond simply placing the plant? The answer is simple and it's ancient. You ritualize it, not in a mystical way, not with candles or chants, unless that calls to you, but in a deeply human way. Because ritual is how we turn small actions into meaning. It's how we say to the universe, I'm paying attention, I'm ready. These 5 rituals aren't rules, they are invitations. Each one is designed to deepen your connection to the jade plant, to help it not just sit quietly, but work quietly. Think of them as small switches. You flip one and a new current begins to flow, not loudly but persistently. You don't need to do them all at once. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up with care. 1. Tie a red thread around the pot. Red is the color of energy, of circulation, of protection. In feng shui, it represents the fire element, the spark that activates growth. When you tie a red thread around your jade plant's pot, you're not just adding decoration. You're introducing warmth into the cool, steady wood energy of the plant. This matters because fire feeds wood. It encourages movement, life, momentum. Use soft red string or yarn, natural if possible. Don't wrap it around the plant itself, only the pot. As you tie it, breathe. Feel your hands moving with intention. You might whisper something to yourself. Let this plant hold my intentions. Or, this is where wealth begins to stay. The thread becomes a boundary, a marker, a circle of attention. It says, this matters. 2. Bury 3 coins under the soil. This ritual is about anchoring. In feng shui, coins, especially a group of 3, represent heaven, earth, and humanity. It's a symbol of harmony, of balanced support from above, below, and within. When you bury coins beneath your jade plant, you're not just hiding metal in the dirt. You're planting the energy of prosperity in a living system. Clean the coins first, rinse them with water and salt or pass them through incense smoke. If you can, tie them with a red thread. Then, during a quiet moment, while repotting or simply tending the plant, press them gently into the soil. Arrange them in a small triangle, not visible but felt. Say something simple, even in your mind. Wealth flows in, fortune stays. You are making a contract not with money but with presence. 3. Add a citrine crystal beside the plant. Citrine is known as the merchant stone, not because it guarantees riches, but because it encourages clarity, confidence, and wise decisions. It has a warm golden tone, like sunlight frozen in stone. Placing a citrine near your jade plant strengthens its purpose. It introduces earth energy, stable, grounding, to balance and enhance the plant's upward movement. Choose a crystal that feels good in your hand. It doesn't have to be big. You can place it on the left side of the pot or create a triangle with 3 small stones around it. Clean the crystal before placing, leave it in morning sun for a few hours or rinse in salt water. Then let it rest. It will do the rest, quietly, consistently, like the plant itself. 4. Clean the leaves with ginger or grapefruit water. Your jade plant is alive. It listens, it absorbs, and just like us, it picks up what's around it: tension, arguments, loss, stress. Over time, that energy weighs it down, even if the leaves still look green. This ritual is about release. Slice a small piece of ginger and boil it in water, or soak some grapefruit peel in warm water for an hour. Let it cool. Then take a soft cloth, dip it gently, and clean each leaf with care. Not rushed, not mechanical, one by one. As you wipe, imagine you're lifting old energy off. Whisper something if it helps. Let this leaf shine again, let the weight go. You'll be surprised how much lighter the room feels after. Do this monthly, especially after periods of stress or change. The plant won't just look cleaner, it will feel clearer. 5. Water the plant between 5 and 7 a.m. This is the most overlooked ritual, but it may be the most powerful. Why? Because timing matters. In ancient energy traditions, the early morning hours between 5 and 7 a.m. are when yang energy begins to rise. It's the breath of a new day, the quiet before noise, the moment when energy is most pure. Watering your jade plant during this time isn't just about moisture. It's about alignment. Use clean water, room temperature, or slightly cool. Rainwater if you have it. As you pour, do it slowly. Let the water settle in. Don't flood the soil, just enough to moisten it. Then pause, close your eyes if it feels right. Say to yourself, I water peace, I water growth. You're not feeding the plant. You're feeding your own ability to hold wealth gently, without fear. Each of these rituals, done with care, begins to turn the jade plant from a passive object into an active participant in your space. Not in a mystical way, but in a way that reconnects you to intention. And when intention is consistent, energy shifts. Slowly, then all at once. You may notice you feel calmer around the plant. You may find yourself pausing there without knowing why. And maybe, just maybe, your financial life begins to feel less frantic, less about chasing and more about welcoming. This is the quiet path, the gentle wealth, the kind that doesn't shout but stays. Part 4, 3 placement mistakes that drain abundance. You've done everything right. The jade plant is healthy, the corner is cleared, the rituals are in place. But still something feels off. Finances seem to ebb and flow. Peace around money feels fragile. And the question begins to whisper, what am I missing? Often it's not what we do, it's where we do it. And in the world of energy, placement is everything, not just for aesthetics, not just for convenience, but for vibration. The way a room holds its silence, the direction in which energy moves, the noise that surrounds what's meant to be still. These things may sound subtle, but their impact is sharp. We're not talking about superstition here. We're talking about how your environment reflects what's happening inside you, and how one small shift in space can ripple into the way you experience wealth, clarity, and calm. So let's walk through 3 common mistakes people make when placing their jade plant. They're quiet, they seem harmless, but each one has the power to drain abundance without you even noticing. Mistake #1, placing the jade plant near the bathroom. It sounds harmless. Maybe there's a little shelf there or the light is soft. But bathrooms energetically are spaces of constant outflow. Water, the symbol of wealth in many traditions, is continuously moving out down the drain through the pipes flushed away. It's not just physical, it's symbolic. A jade plant placed too close to this space, whether beside the toilet, against a shared wall, or directly across from a bathroom door, absorbs that movement, and not in a good way. Over time, you might notice the leaves lose their shine. The soil feels damp too often. The plant seems dull no matter how well you water it. And financially, you might feel like money is leaving as fast as it arrives. Bills keep piling. Unexpected expenses appear. The cycle repeats. The solution: move the plant. If that's not possible, add a layer of energetic protection. Use a bamboo screen, a fabric curtain, or a small wooden partition to block the direct line between plant and bathroom. Add a bowl of sea salt to absorb moisture, or place a small mirror facing outward to reflect energy back in. The message is simple: don't place your wealth where it's meant to be flushed away. Mistake #2, keeping the jade plant in the bedroom. This one is tricky because so many of us love plants in the bedroom. They feel calming, natural, even healing. But the jade plant isn't just any plant. It carries yang energy, forward-moving, expansive, vibrant, and the bedroom, that space is deeply yin. It's a space for rest, stillness, intimacy, and retreat. These energies aren't opposites, they are mismatched. And when you place a yang energy plant in a yin space, both become confused. The plant, surrounded by stillness, can begin to fade. You may see it slow in growth, lose luster, or stop thriving altogether. But more importantly, you might begin to feel it too. Sleep becomes less restful, thoughts become more scattered. Your connection to wealth starts to feel out of sync, not loud but lingering, like something is off, but you can't quite name it. If your jade plant is in the bedroom now, consider relocating it to a space with movement, your living room, home office, or entryway. Let it live where energy flows naturally, where conversation happens, where light and life pass through. Let your bedroom be a space of recovery, not responsibility, because wealth needs flow and the bedroom is a place to let go. Mistake #3, placing the jade plant too close to the kitchen. At first glance, the kitchen might seem like the perfect place. It's warm, full of life, and associated with nourishment. But energetically, it's also where the fire element dominates. Every time you cook, that fire rises, heat expands, flames flicker, and your jade plant is quietly overpowered. In the 5 elements theory, fire burns wood, which means metaphorically placing your plant near a stove, oven, or even next to constantly used appliances starts to create conflict. Not just in how the plant grows, but in how your wealth energy behaves. You might notice the plant becomes thirsty more quickly. Its leaves turn yellow or curl at the tips. And in life, you may feel your income burns out as soon as it arrives. Sudden expenses, fast shifts, a lack of staying power. It's not the kitchen's fault, it's just the wrong match. If moving the plant isn't an option, use a gentle divider, a wooden panel, a row of cookbooks, even a decorative object that creates a soft barrier between the plant and the fire source. The point isn't to block the kitchen. It's to protect the plant's ability to hold calm, moist, growth-oriented energy. Because wealth doesn't need to be cooked, it needs to be nurtured. Each of these placement mistakes is understandable. They are choices made for convenience, for style, even for comfort. But when we begin to understand how space speaks to energy and how energy shapes experience, we gain the power to shift everything. You don't have to redecorate your house. You don't need to believe in magic. You just need to notice. To honor what the jade plant needs, and in doing so, you'll begin to notice what you need too. So take a quiet walk through your home. Notice where energy feels like it's flowing and where it feels stuck. Look at your jade plant not as a decoration, but as a barometer. A living reflection of how energy is moving or being blocked in your life. And if something feels off, don't panic. Just listen, just move it. Just try again. Because sometimes it's not about doing more. It's about removing what's quietly draining you. And that's how we begin again, with awareness, intention, and the simplest act of turning a plant toward the light. Part 5. The monk, the merchant, and the clay pot. He had everything, or at least he should have. A thriving trade route, shelves full of goods, contracts signed, customers loyal, profits tallied neatly in black ink. And yet every quarter the same haunting question returned. Where did it all go? The merchant couldn't explain it. Money came in but never stayed. Some months felt flush, even joyful, but by season's end, it was as if his wealth had slipped through invisible cracks in the floor. He checked the books. He cut expenses. He worked longer hours, but something deeper remained unspoken, a sense that the energy of abundance had never truly settled in his life. So one day, without much of a plan, he left. He closed the shop early, packed light, and set off with no destination. He told no one. He just walked through markets, through dusty roads, past familiar towns and forgotten crossroads. Something in him was searching. Not for answers, really, but for a pause, and that's when the mountain came into view. The temple wasn't on any map. It sat quietly beneath the pines as if it had always been there. No sign, no gate, just stillness. The kind of silence that feels like it's been waiting for you. He stepped inside. A monk met him, old, gentle-eyed, and quiet. He didn't ask the merchant what was wrong. He didn't offer platitudes or scripture. Instead, he pointed toward a corner of the room. There, resting in a chipped clay pot, was a small plant. Simple, ordinary, its leaves were thick, rounded, glowing softly in the lantern's light. The merchant tilted his head. "That," the monk nodded, "that's your answer." The merchant frowned. "I was hoping for wisdom, a ritual, a teaching." The monk looked at the plant again. "You don't need to chase more money," he said. "You need to learn how to hold it, and to hold energy. You need something alive, something that stays." That sentence lingered like incense in the air. To hold energy, you need something alive. The monk explained that the jade plant was named not for what it is, but for what it knows, how to hold fortune the way jade holds its shine. Quietly, permanently, without needing applause. The merchant didn't fully understand, but he bowed, thanked the monk, and returned home. And as odd as it felt, he followed the memory. He found a jade plant, just like the one in the temple. He placed it in the center of his living room, not because it matched the furniture or filled a space, but because that was the heart of the home. He didn't ask it to work. He didn't wait for miracles. He just let it sit there. And then life slowed. Bills still came, but income stayed longer. Opportunities didn't just pass through, they circled back. The strain around money softened. And in that softness, something changed. People began to ask him what he'd done differently. He said nothing and smiled. But he often found himself glancing at the plant, the way it stood still, full content. Over time, it became more than a symbol. It became a kind of presence, a partner. Now you might be wondering why I'm telling you this story. After all, it's just a plant, just a parable. But here's the deeper truth. We all have a part of us that behaves like that merchant. We work hard. We try to earn, to fix, to strategize. But often, we forget that energy, like money, needs a place to land. It needs somewhere safe, still, and alive. That's what the jade plant becomes in your space, not because it's magic, but because you give it meaning. The clay pot in the story, that's your home. The monk, that's your inner wisdom, the part of you that knows how tired you are of chasing. And the plant, that's the quiet act of alignment, of saying, I don't want fast money, I want rooted wealth. Wealth that doesn't slip away. Success that doesn't collapse under pressure. Peace that doesn't depend on a dollar sign. The merchant didn't need more knowledge. He needed grounding, and so do we. Especially now in a world that asks us to move fast, earn more, multitask, perform. The jade plant in its stillness invites you to remember a different way. Receive slowly, grow quietly, keep what matters. So perhaps the question isn't, how do I get more? It's, where can I place what I already have so that it stays? And maybe the next time you walk into your living room and see your jade plant, whether it's small or thriving, in bloom or not, you'll remember this, that even the simplest object, when treated with reverence, can change the way we hold our lives. Because abundance doesn't always arrive with noise or numbers. Sometimes it shows up in a clay pot, sitting quietly in the corner, holding fortune like breath. Still, steady, already enough. Final, you've made it here, not just to the end of a video, but to the beginning of something gentler, something slower, something deeply yours. We've walked through corners and placements, light and stillness, coins and threads. We've looked closely at a plant so often called lucky and asked it to show us something far more lasting than luck, intention. Because at its core, this wasn't about the jade plant. Not really. It was about you, your space, your relationship with wealth, not as a number, but as an experience. One you live through your home, one you feel in the quiet parts of your day, one that's either supported or scattered by the energy around you. We explored how placement matters, how rituals, when done with heart, become mirrors of care, and how even simple objects, when seen, respected, and given the right place, begin to carry meaning, begin to work with you. And if there's one truth I hope stays with you, it's this: your home listens to you. Every corner, every object, every silence you create or neglect, it all responds. And when you tend to it with softness, with clarity, with presence, it tends to you in return. So no, you don't need to buy more. You don't need to know every feng shui principle. You just need to notice. You need to stay awake to what feels stagnant and what feels alive. You need to trust that small changes, moving a plant, tying a thread, wiping a single leaf, can create deep shifts, not instantly, but steadily. Because abundance rarely arrives as a windfall. It arrives as a shift, a breath, a plant in a quiet corner suddenly glowing in the morning light. And to you watching, listening, maybe pausing now with new eyes, I want to say thank you. Thank you for staying through this journey. Thank you for giving your attention to something soft, slow, and unseen. That's rare in a world that moves fast. Wherever you are, however things have felt lately, just know you don't need to chase your wealth. You only need to make space for it to arrive, to stay, to grow. I hope your jade plant flourishes, but more than that, I hope you do. Take care. And may your home always return your energy with a little more light, a little more ease, and a lot more quiet prosperity. Until next time.